Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another BJ&Co. Odyssey, the next generation science game video. How's it going, Savi?
It's going good.
Ready to get your science on?
Ready to get some science on.
And find some more spelling errors?
Yeah.
So, last time we kind of made it up into the observatory, guys, and now we're going to head on and see what else we've got.
After some reading, and hey, if you like spelling errors and reading, be sure to give us the big old thumbs up.
Yeah. And I think we should make it a challenge. If you see any spelling and grammar errors, throw them down in the comments below.
Yeah, that's good.
Because I
like that.
And I must say, I think it's kind of neat how the main character that you're seeing in this is a 13-year-old girl.
And, I mean, so there might be spelling errors.
Yeah,
that's
like
fair.
it's totally legitimate. I actually like that attention to detail there. Even though it drives me insane.
Lack of attention to detail. Who knows?
Yeah.
They maybe just were getting lucky on. Hey, screw your stupid puzzle.
Yeah, but let's get on to some reading. If you guys, as we did in the previous video, if you don't want to listen to us read through this, if you kind of just want to see the puzzles and everything, there's timestamps down below to jump through the journals. But if you want to listen to us all and see all the fun wording that's in here, let's listen on. So today was a busy day. Mom and Dad decided to make the bunker our base instead of the boat. Everyone but me spent the whole day making it secure. I don't know what they're worried about. Security. There's no one around and it's illegal for anyone to be here. The door to the outside has a big deadbolt, but Mom wanted a way in for emergencies if someone inside needed help. Mom used steel plates left over from the army and built a big box like a combination lock, where you had to line up slots in 5 hidden plates to slide the interior deadbolt across. She wrote numbers on the plates that you can see through the holes in the front, and she set the combination to be the combination of all our birthdays. But Sid and I had already decided we're going to change it. We want to put something different instead of numbers, like pictures for fun. Inside, the ladder up from the entrance is permanent, but the 2 leading to the upper floors were retractable. They drop with a lever. To also make the bunker extra safe...
That's only a comma.
Mom blocked the lever to the top floor with another makeshift combination lock. But 4 separate ones instead that was easier to make with the parts she found laying around.
There you go. She put letters on each of the 4 wheels, and the combination could be a word. But Sid and I are going to change these 2 into pictures as soon as we decide what to use. On the top floor, opening the 2 exits is done with a heavy crank that actually turns 2 wooden discs in as tall as the room until doorway holes appear so you can leave. Wow. They were set so you could only open 1 at a time. For some reason, Mom said was probably army logic. She says it would not be too hard to change. There's no reason to. They're not worried about these doors since no one can enter from the outside up here anyways. Sid and Guillaume carried all my art and craft supplies up from the boat. It took them a lot of trips. While they did, I checked out the weird mechanisms on the middle and top floors.
The middle floor has 2 circular rails in the center of the room, with a chair in the middle. In front of the chair is a panel, and a crank that rotates the chair and also can move vertical posts around the tracks if you throw switches on the panel to lock the post to the chair. It's strange how it works. The crank also rotates the chair, but it only moves a post if you throw a lever from the post while it's in front of the chair. Maybe it's some kind of map room. As I sat in the chair and looked around, thinking about the eclipse story Dad told last night, it occurred to me that I could be the Earth in the chair, and the near track could be the moon, and the far track could be the sun. The sun doesn't go around the Earth, of course, but it looks like it does. When I had all my supplies, I asked Sid to help me build a model for fun. I blew up balloons and then used paper and glue to make big paper mache spheres. A smaller one I painted like the moon, and a bigger one I painted yellow to make the sun. We put them on top of the posts on the rails, and Sid wired a light inside the yellow sphere so the sun could shine. Now we sit in the chair and move the sun and moon, and when the moon gets in between or eclipses the sun, we can also move the moon around and see all of its phases from the sunlight shining on it. Okay, before we go any further, how do they have all this shit on the boat?
Yeah, I was going to say, and what kind of shitty paper mache lets light shine through it? Like,
yeah.
Jeez.
Oh my god.
All right, so it gave Sid an idea for the combination lock, the dials locking the drop ladder to the top floor. He said we should make them them star constellations. Mom told Sid there are 88 constellations, but throughout the year, the sun and the moon only pass through 12 of them, called the zodiac. So I painted the 12 zodiac constellations around the room, and the combination to drop the ladder is now the constellation that are blocked by the moon in each moon phase shown on the dials. The key you need to work it all out is which constellation is blocked by the sun. If the sun isn't in the right place, the moon phases won't block the right constellations to open the lock. I'm not going to write here what constellation the sun should be in, though it wouldn't be secure. It's Gemini.
No, really. We didn't see that out last time. And that's the end of this book.
That's it, eh?
So, like we saw last time, guys, there's a wonderful little thing here that says, block the constellation with the sun upstairs, which is Gemini, like he said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one.
So, I don't like how escape doesn't take me out of stuff.
So this is the weird room thing.
With the rails and the posts.
Right. So the sun has to go in front of Gemini? That's what they said?
That's what I'm saying. So we need it over there. So, it's kind of nice that...
No, that's the chair that moves. Oh. Wasn't that green? Maybe go back. Yeah, now flip that.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so...
Okay.
So we need to flip that back down. We need to do this.
Right, and then what did she say about... Oh, and then on the wall, I think it shows the moon phases we need to hit. Right.
So...
Oh, in the journal, it shows which one we hit first, I think.
I didn't think there was an order, but...
I mean...
Like, it's each moon phase has to be a different one, right?
Right. I mean, so technically we could just spin the moon. And...
Until we hit the right thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of okay with that.
Let's spin it. Spin that moon!
Okay.
All right, so maybe we do have to pay attention.
Shit.
All right. So let's do... I don't even know. Oh, so we need to find those moon phases and then change it to the one that it is. All right. So let's do the full moon first. Or no, let's do the new moon. So yeah, that way.
Ah, I didn't pick it up. Fuck.
I didn't pick up the moon.
Ah, what the fuck?
That was weird. You have the sun locked. Click. Oh, you gotta go back.
Oh, fuck.
Did we just fuck the game?
Did I just fuck the game up? I just fucked the game up.
Well, just we can just do it by looking at it.
So I mean, that's...
Gemini is the new moon,
which is the bottom one, right?
Yeah, I would assume. Oh,
I missed it. Okay.
All right. So then, directly behind the sun. 2,
3, 4, 5, 6 is the archer.
That one. There you go. And then, so let's do a quarter turn left for the one on the left, I think.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3. It's this one.
So but what side would be light? The right side of the moon would be right.
Yeah, so that's the one
So
on
that's
the right
this
here.
one. And that's the weird spider, whatever it is. Nope.
That one?
Yeah.
So then 1, 2, 3 has to be this one for this side.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh, yeah!
Fuck you, game.
Yeah. We broke you and still finished it. That's actually very interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Devs, if you're watching that, fix your shit.
Yeah, that's interesting. I shouldn't quick things too much. But we have another journal. So Sid decided to stay up with me till Mom and Dad and Guillaume came up for the night. In the last few hours waiting, we were thinking about how we just built a model that could make solar eclipses, and Sid thought of a way to also make solar and lunar eclipses using the strange army logic cranks on the top floor. The ones that open the 2 exits, but never at the same time. So we rigged up a different kind of eclipse maker on the top floor. I made another paper mache sun and moon, and also an earth this time. Sid put the lamp in the center of the room instead of the sun sphere, and we hung the earth sphere out on a beam. Then he put the moon on a small beam, attached to a spool around the post holding the earth. Last, he rigged up a belt so that turning the crank, which opened the doors, would also make the moon go around the earth. So now, by turning the crank, we can make both eclipses, the moon casting its shadow on the earth and the earth casting its shadow on the moon, and each opens one of the 2 doors. Playing with our models, waiting for Mom and Dad to come for dinner, I thought more about how to prove the Earth was a sphere. The new eclipse models were interesting, but I don't think they can help with the shape of the Earth. They even assumed the Earth was a sphere when I hadn't proven that yet. Maybe Dad will be ready to go give me a hint about how to do that tonight.
After dinner, I asked Dad about proving the Earth was a sphere. He said the answer can be found in what the pirates had written about the Caribs' astrologer. Why do I struggle with that one? Arguments. They were surprised how much he knew compared to his people. The astrologer spoke of lunar eclipses they'd seen before that happened higher in the night sky, so they could see them progress, the shadow slowly moving across to cover the whole moon over hours. He also spoke of solar eclipses they had seen and how they were the same kind of thing, but with the moon casting its shadow on the earth. That surprised me. I've seen solar eclipses before on web videos, not in real life, and it just looked like something brown and invisible covered the sun over time. You couldn't see the moon itself at all. The part of the sun it was covering just looked missing. Dad said it took lots of observations to figure this out. Ancient astronomers saw that lunar eclipses only happened when the moon is full, which makes sense if it's caused by the Earth getting in between the sun and the moon, because that's when you see the full moon.
With solar eclipses, the moon must be between the Earth and the sun, and that's during a new moon, which is not seeing the moon at all because no light is shining on the side facing the Earth. The Carib astrologer knew all this, but he still thought the Earth was flat, like a round disc, according to the pirates. It took more proof and time for people to finally accept that the Earth was a sphere. The last piece, he said, came from watching lunar eclipses. I think I know what he means. Those are the only times you get to see the Earth's shadow anywhere. But since the Earth's shadow on the moon could look curved, shouldn't the Carib astrologer have figured out the Earth was a sphere? Or could a round disc also have cast a curved shadow? Since I'm stuck up here letting my ankle heal, I think I'll build another model.
I overdid this model too. Okay. But now I'm thinking about bringing my models in to show everyone at school when we get home. So it's okay to make them nicer than they need to be. Fuck these kids. Like,
yeah.
The models they're making, dear Lord.
Yeah, I'd have trouble.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we just have it all on the ship. Nice. This one was tricky. I needed a sunlight to hit the Earth and cast shadows on the moon. But using both flat and spherical Earths, I put together some sliders and a crank to swap the 2 Earth shapes without moving anything else to see the different shadows. With a spherical Earth, no matter how I moved anything, I always saw the same curved shadow on the moon. That makes sense. A ball casts the same shadow from every angle. With a flat Earth, I saw a similar curved shadow when it was facing the moon. That would be a lunar eclipse, when the moon is high in the sky. That's why the Carib astrologer could believe in the flat Earth, even though he saw a curved shadow on the moon during a lunar eclipse. But I could turn the flat Earth model sideways to cast a weird shadow stripe on the moon, like how it would be for a lunar eclipse happening when the moon is close to the horizon. Last night, Dad said every lunar eclipse has the same curved shadow, whether the moon is near the horizon or high overhead. My model shows this wouldn't happen if the Earth were flat, like a disc. This was definite proof the Earth is a sphere.
Woo! Oh.
Holy guac.
I showed everyone my model, especially how the flat Earth casts a thin vertical shadow stripe on the moon, proving the Earth can't be flat, or we'd see lunar eclipses like that sometimes. The Carib astrologers probably didn't work with such models. It was a little windy last night, so Mum, Sid, and Guillaume put their sleeping bags inside the main room on the top floor. Dad stayed out with me on the exposed observation deck. I guess he could tell I wasn't asleep, and he asked me what I was thinking about. I was satisfied that I had finally had direct evidence the Earth is a sphere. I learned that Aristotle had also given this argument, so he was clearly an experienced philosopher. I also thought Aristotle's physics made sense in how it explained why the Earth is round and why antipods don't fall off into space.
But it also led to the conclusion that the Earth was stationary at the center of the universe. I know that's not right. It seems strange to me that Aristotle could be so clever in some ways, but also believe things that were so wrong. Dad reminded me that things today which seem obvious weren't so back then. How could I know the sun didn't go around the Earth without modern information? I'd proven the Earth and the moon were spheres, but the shape of planets and moons had nothing to do with what was circling what. That was a whole different problem. I fell asleep soon after that, and now I'm waiting for everyone else to wake up. They said we should be able to cross the bridge to the next piece of wretched minor today as soon as Dad wakes up anyway. I think he's sleeping in this morning because I saw him up again in the night looking out to the sea with binoculars. I wish I knew what he was looking for. Away off this fucking island.
No, it's the pirates. It's the pirates. Okay.
So now we need to make solar and lunar eclipses to open a door.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's fucking easy.
That's just going to be this. Why don't we explore this one opening first? Oh.
No, there's the doors.
Oh, those are the two doors. Okay.
So, which one do we want to... Well, let's just turn one and see which one happens.
Bingo!
Lunar eclipse!
Which side opens?
This one.
Okay. What we got? Oh. This is kind of interesting that it's busted off. And this is locked with a key, and I do not have another key.
Bullshit.
Which means...
Bullshit.
I feel like we're going to have to go to the other side first, but it looks like...
Well, there was that puzzle that we could do.
Yeah, that too. Screw puzzles. Okay, what do we have to do here, Savi?
I don't know. Didn't say, did it?
I don't think so. Well, this was... Okay, I feel like we haven't read the journal to do this one yet.
What's the center one do? Anything? Oh, this is to get the flat disc. No. Rotate it. The Earth, sorry, other way.
Ah, nice. Well, that was easy.
Well, now we should go explore the other. Well, unlock first.
Yeah, let's make sure it unlocks. Because that crank doesn't look like it works for anything. It doesn't need to.
I really hope if we unlock it, we don't automatically go down.
Well, but it's...
Yeah, fuck it.
Oh, shit.
Well, we just fucked someone's day up.
Oh, here comes the path up. Eek. There's the zipline thing. So we need to be heavier than 20 kilograms in order to go down.
I don't know if we can do that. All right, let's
Let's
check the
go-
other one
yeah.
just for kicks.
You can't leave it unexplored, that's for sure. Ooh, if I can walk. One click at a time.
Oh no, a solar eclipse.
What are we gonna do? Oh,
Nothing.
yeah.
Frick.
So I mean, that must be the crank. that
Yeah,
moves
but
it
I
over?
mean, the crank's busted.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Oh no, another lunar eclipse in the same day. What's the handle to the right do? Anything?
Nothing.
There you go.
Nothing. Okay, let's zip line.
Zip, 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 zoo. 'Cause, I mean, why not? Yay! We made it to another wretched minor island.
Whack!
I was gonna say, just fucking takes us out.
That would be fucking hilarious.
And
And we get off, and there's no going back.
All right. Well.
I mean, we could probably take the 20-kilogram thing off and go, but
Yeah.
okay. Let's see what we can see. Fuck, really?
Come on, ladder. Get better.
Okay, what do we got? Really, it looks like you could totally walk there, but okay,
Get your pickaxe out and break down the goddamn doors.
might not be that simple.
That sounds like a challenge to me.
All right, pickaxe.
Ka-dink. No. All right.
Okay.
It wins.
I mean, there's stuff inside there.
So we should probably follow the wires. Solar panel, which powers something inside that building, which has another wire that leads to oh boy.
All sorts of fun stuff in here.
All right, well, let's follow the line.
Yeah.
The answers are right in front of us.
Holy shit! I wasn't expecting that at all. And I like how after you open it, it powers up this thing.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. But
I guess it completes the circuit.
let's do this journal, and then this will probably be the last one we do. We crossed over the fixed rotating bridge this morning, but we found we still couldn't get over to the main part of Wretched Minor. There was another bridge we needed to cross, and it was broken too. The first bridge took us almost a week to repair, and Mom thinks this one might take longer. The zip line leading here from the bunker island was easy to fix though, and Sid took care of that first thing. It works great. My ankle is still swollen and hurting too much for anyone to help me up to the top of the bunker over and over, so I only got to ride it once so far. This bit of Wretched Minor has a couple of shacks on it with nothing inside but some tables and barrels. There's an old well around back covered by an army grate. Mom says we might look into it later if we need some fresh water source. The exciting part is the tall radio tower, but we can't figure out how to reach it. Sid has a theory though. We can rotate the bridge from this side so it doesn't connect back to the bunker island, and when we do, it connects to steps leading down to a small lagoon. Sid dove in and said the steps lead to a door, but he can't open it with all the water pushing against it.
He thinks it might lead to the tower. We have a sump pump, and Mum says we might empty the lagoon later to see, but she can tell high tide will just fill it up again, so we'll have to be careful. I was gonna say, we're just gonna empty a lagoon. Fuck it.
Yep.
Any animals? Who cares? When we have the bridge turned away from the bunker island, the only way to get here is by zipline. So Mom and Dad decided these two shacks would be our new base, in case anyone comes and figures out the two combination locks in the bunker. Mom put a padlock on the zip line and has the only key. At night, we can rotate the bridge away, and that makes Dad feel secure. I think he's being paranoid. We haven't found more evidence that anyone's been here, and we haven't seen any boats or lights out to sea. Guillaume tells us people do sail by from time to time, but everyone knows it's very dangerous because of all the rocks, so no one ever comes too close. There's nothing to worry about. I was thinking about how stars follow circular paths in the sky. If the stars were doing the moving, they would all have to go different speeds depending on how far they were from the pole star, to keep the same distance from each other and not get all scrambled.
That sounds magical, and I wondered how Aristotle would explain it if the Earth was stationary at the center of the universe. Isn't it much simpler, for one thing, the Earth to spin instead of thousands of stars to move the other direction, all at different speeds, but staying perfectly synchronized? Dad told me Aristotle said all the stars were embedded in the surface of a celestial sphere, made of ether. The stars were spots on a celestial sphere where the concentration of ether was dense enough to be luminous. This celestial sphere rotated as a single unit around the Earth, about once a day. The pole star was on the northern pole of this celestial sphere, and that's why it didn't move while all the other stars seemed to revolve around it. Aristotle believed ether, the substance stars were made of, was weightless and had a natural tendency to move in circles, so no effort was needed to rotate the celestial sphere. The Earth rotating made no sense to him, since he believed the natural rotation of the heavy elements, earth and water, which make up the Earth, was along a straight line towards the center of the universe, not in circular motion.
I mean, I hate to say it, but we didn't really ever get taught this, like, with Aristotle, did we? Which is...
I like how it's going back and giving us that information of how people came to these realizations in the past.
It's kind of neat, isn't it? Because, I mean, it's like, oh, yeah, it's not the center. There you go. Don't ask questions, asshole.
Yeah, this is just how it is.
Yeah. I thought it made more sense for only one thing, the Earth, to be doing the moving, not the countless stars, but putting them on a celestial sphere was a clever way to make the spinning sky also one thing. I'll have to find another angle to uncover problems with Aristotle's model. Sid and I have been watching the stars ever since we got to Wretched Island, and I've noticed they're a little higher each night when they appear after sunset. It's like they're rising a bit sooner each day. The day is 24 hours long, and it looks like the celestial sphere takes slightly less time than that to rotate once around, Dad told me. I'm right. Well, oh, there is a period there. Dad told me I'm right. The celestial sphere takes about 4 minutes less than 24 hours to rotate one full turn. Because of this, every night the stars rising at the eastern horizon are progressively different. Like if a star rises immediately after sunset today, then tomorrow when the sun sets, it'll have already risen and be slightly above the horizon. A few weeks later, it'll appear even higher when the sun sets. This means that over the course of months, we see different stars at night. That's why the ancients could tell the seasons by looking at which stars and constellations were visible.
The stars rise earlier each day, and Dad says they'll get back to where they started a year from now. It's because the difference of just under 4 minutes times 365 days equals one whole day. So if a star is rising on the horizon exactly at sunset today, a year later it will rise at the same time. I told Dad that this was a problem for Aristotle's celestial sphere model. If the sun moved exactly with the stars, we would see the same stars every night. But there's a 4-minute difference. Dad says the ancients knew this, and the sun was given its own separate sphere, which rotated slower by about 4 minutes than the starry sphere. That explains how the sun moves a little slower than the stars, and after a year gets back to the same position it had before the start on the starry sphere. I never thought much about how the stars were different at night, or how they moved on the same and how they were the same on the same night each year. I'm going to have to think about this some more.
I rubbed paint thinner on a plastic globe I had. Well, why'd she fucking make paper mache ones? Plastic globe I had, and when the paint came off, the globe itself was transparent. So I used it to build a model of the celestial sphere, which is with the stars rotating around the spherical Earth in the middle. Sid helped me put a light bulb on an armature. Okay. Representing the sun, which also rotated around the Earth with the celestial sphere using the same crank. But it could also be moved relative to the celestial sphere using another crank. So while the first crank showed how the sun and the stars rotate around the Earth every day, the second crank helped me see how the sun moved relative to the stars over a whole year. The ancient people divided the stars in the sky into patterns called constellations. The path of the sun around the celestial sphere throughout the year was divided into 12 parts, one for each month of the year. I didn't know until Dad told me that the idea of a month comes from how from how it takes about 30 days for the moon to cycle through all its phases. The word month comes from the word moon.
The word for moon.
Whatever.
In each month, the sun passes through a different constellation, and these 12 are called the 20 zodiacal constellations.
Interesting.
The 20 threw me off, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, the zodiacal constellations.
Oh.
It's a Z-O, not a 2-0. Fuck. You don't find the sun in any arbitrary location on the celestial sphere. It's always within a narrow band of zodiac constellations. Dad also told me the orbit of the sun against the celestial sphere is called the ecliptic. The strange thing is that even the moon and the planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, are always found in the band of zodiacal constellations. Every day, the sun appears 1 degree away from its previous location on the celestial sphere. Since it takes a year, close to 360 days, for the sun to come back to the same spot on the celestial sphere, some scientists think this is why ancients divided a circle into 360 degrees. Otherwise, we might as well have divided a circle into 10 or 100 degrees instead of 360. It was fascinating to hear Dad link some of the geometry stuff we took for granted with astronomy.
Jeez, this bitch knows how to write.
Yeah.
After the lunch, Sid had to go back and help Mom and Guillaume repairing the bridge, so I spent the rest of the day drawing and pasting the zodiacal?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Constellations on my celestial sphere. The celestial sphere is cool, but it seems too complicated. Having the Earth rotate is way simpler than having a huge What?
She's a slacker.
Oh, yeah. Way simpler than having huge rotating celestial sphere. But how can the Earth rotating explain the difference between the positions of the sun and the stars every day, and how the progress until the sun is back at its original spot among the stars after a year? I can't explain that just having the Earth rotate. I need another model, this time with the Earth spinning around its axis, but if the sun doesn't move, and neither do the stars, in order to get the sun to change positions relative to the stars in the Earth's sky. Either the sun or the Earth needs to orbit. This time, instead of putting the Earth at the center, I put the sun at the center and made the Earth travel around it. Sid helped me build a model with gears that moved the Earth around the sun, but also spun the Earth around it on its axis at the same time.
It showed that this model would explain the apparent motion of the sun among the stars. As the Earth moved around the sun, a line drawn from the Earth through the sun would hit a slightly different spot on the starry background every day. After one complete rotation of the Earth around the sun, a year, the line would hit the same stars again. And then good models there. Your turn.
Fuck. You always hope for that when you're like, okay, it's my turn to read, and you flip to, okay, I'm in 3 pages, or 3 people. Let's see yeah, I got short pages.
Yeah!
All right. I cut off the bottom of the barrel and attached the model to the middle of the base. Then I drew the zodiac constellations on the inside rim of the barrel so I could see the sun travel through all 12 zodiacal constellations over a year, as seen from the Earth. Now I have 2 models which both explain the same observation, and I'm determined to show Dad that my model with the sun at the center is simpler and better. After dinner, I realized that there was a problem with the Earth-centered or geocentric celestial sphere model. It explained how the sun would move relative to the stars and the zodiacal constellations, but we also have seasons. In summer, it's hotter and the sun is up for longer. In winter, it's colder and the days are shorter. Nothing about celestial sphere explains why this happened. With the geocentric model, every day of the year is equally long, and there's no reason for the temperature or weather to change back and forth throughout the year. When I pointed this out to Dad, he asked me how my sun-centered or heliocentric model explains seasons. He was right. Neither models explained the seasons. I attached a small pen laser beam to the sun of each model and made it always point at the Earth, and I saw that it always landed on the Earth's equator. every day of the year.
Bum, bum, bum. I liked it again.
Fuck me.
By a stroke of luck, though, while fiddling with my heliocentric model, I bumped the Earth and it got tilted, but still worked, so it could spin while moving crooked around the sun. This meant that the laser hit different latitudes on the Earth at different times of the year. At one point, when the Earth was tipped most towards the sun, the light hit its highest latitude in the northern hemisphere. Then, as the Earth orbited the sun, the laser moved south, across the equator, and when the Earth was on the opposite side of the sun, tipped most away, the laser hit its lowest latitude in the southern hemisphere. Then it started moving north again until it got back to its starting point, a year later than it started. The places where the sunlight hit most perpendicularly, shown by the laser, would be hotter than places where the sunlight hit more at an angle.
That explained that this was because when sunlight hits at a shallower angle, the same amount of sunlight is spread out over a larger area, so it's cooler. It was hard to understand, so he drew me a diagram, and then I understood. This explains the seasons, because the angle that the sun hits at a perpendicular latitude on the Earth... Oh, particular. Well, perpendicular works too. Of the Earth is always changing. When the laser hits straightest on a point in the northern hemisphere, it's late spring, summer, or early fall. And when the laser hits somewhere in the southern hemisphere, it's late fall, winter, or early spring in the northern hemisphere.
Interesting. Tonight, Dad told me about the seasons. The real Earth's axis tilts about 23.5 degrees away from vertical, and so should my model. Tipped that much, the laser hits the northernmost latitude, called the Tropic of Cancer, on the day called the summer solstice. Crosses the equator on the autumnal equinox, reaches the southernmost latitude, called the Tropic of Capricorn, on the winter solstice, then crosses the equator again on the spring equinox, to finally reach to the northern hemisphere.
I said all this was great, but didn't it prove the geocentric model was wrong? The celestial sphere didn't explain seasonal change like this, but no, Dad said I tipped the Earth on my heliocentric model to get it to work, and something similar could be done with the geocentric model. If I tilted the sun's orbit in the celestial sphere by the same angle of 23.5 degrees instead of keeping it horizontal, it could also explain the seasons. I made these changes plus added a pen laser to the geocentric model and saw sunlight fall directly on different latitudes throughout the year. On the summer solstice, the sun was highest along with the elliptic. Yeah, elliptic. That doesn't... Is that how you say it?
That's how you say the word.
That's weird. It should be ecliptic, but elliptic. And the laser hit the Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere.
As the sun moves south, the laser crossed the celestial equator on the autumnal equinox, and when the laser dot hit Earth's equator, next the sun reached its lowest point on the winter solstice, directly over the Tropic of Capricorn. Then it climbed back up the elliptic and crossed the celestial equator on the spring equinox when the laser dot hit the Earth's equator. Then the sun kept climbing on the elliptic until it reached its highest point again on the summer solstice. I also adjusted the zodiac constellations to form a band along the elliptic instead of the celestial equator, as I first put them. Now the model can explain everything like the heliocentric model. So I haven't proven the heliocentric model is better. The geocentric one still seems more complicated, but it works just as well at explaining everything. So I'm back to square one.
Dumb bitch. That's such a waste of time.
Well, what do we have to do now?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. So this is the heliocentric. I mean, do we just... Is there a reason you have to put it there?
Well, there was 2 highlighted things in the book, right?
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to those.
I know you weren't, so let's just jump back. So, the sun reaches lowest point on the winter solstice directly on the Tropic of Capricorn.
Right, okay. So
that's what I was looking for there.
What's the yellows? Look, there's a yellow button in there, too.
Just give me a second.
Yeah.
our other one was when the Earth was on the opposite side of the sun, tipped most away, the laser hits the lowest latitude on the southern hemisphere.
So we're hitting lowest on both.
Yeah.
All right.
That just tilts it.
That tilts it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I hit that already. But I mean, that doesn't look like it sent any power out.
Right. Well, we might have to get both of them to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And then... Oh my gosh. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, nailed it. Oh,
Whee.
yeah. Oh,
for
more journals. I think we leave this one for next episode.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of reading that we've just done. So we're tired. This is a short video for you if you don't watch the reading, but you know that's a you problem, not a me problem.
Yeah, most definitely. So thank you guys very much for watching. As always, we enjoy having you on for the journey. If you're enjoying this, don't forget to smash that like button, and you can subscribe for updates of when all of our new content goes live. Also, if you want to see where our presence is across the interwebs, you can check out our website, bj&co.ca. And yeah, that's it for this week, and we'll see you folks next time. Bye.